Okay, let's see what we'll do today. We'll be revising some of the Unit 6 and also Unit 2 and 3 questions. The revision is on Unit 6 and Unit 2 and 3. Can you see the screen, Yamiriam? Can you see the screen already?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a sample containing 3 grams of ethane was burned in a calorimeter. The heat capacity of calorimeter is 25 kilojoules per degree Celsius. The temperature of the calorimeter increased by 5 degrees Celsius. Calculate the heat of combustion per mole of ethane. And let's remember together how we will solve the questions of calorimetry. I have the mass of ethane, that's 3 grams. I have the C, which is 25 kilojoules per degree Celsius. And I have the change in the temperature, which is 5 degrees. We know that if we want to get, if we have only the heat capacity without without the specific heat capacity, so the equation will be equal to Q is equal to negative C delta D directly. So negative specific heat capacity, no, heat capacity multiplied by delta T. So that's equal to 25, negative 25 multiplied by the change in temperature, which is 5. And then if we want to divide this by m, so can we find the delta H? Delta H is equal to Q over number of moles. So negative 25 multiplied by this 5. So multiplied by this 5 and then divided by the number of moles. How do we get the number of moles? We divide the mass by the molar mass. So mass, which is 3 grams, by the molar mass of ethane. Ethane is C2H6. So it's 24 plus 6, so it is equal to 30. mass over molar mass. So I will get the value of negative 1250 as kilojoule per mole. Or we can say it's negative 1.3 multiplied 10 to the power of 3 kilojoules per mole. So again, if you give me only the heat capacity without giving me the specific heat capacity, so my equation is not mc delta T, it's negative C delta T. So let's see another question. Here a question I have also about calorimetry, but with mixing of two solutions. So mixing of two solutions. So if I'm mixing HCl together with NaOH in a coffee cup calorimeter, so here this time the mass that I will be using is the mass of the two solutions together. So I have 100 centimeter cube from this solution together with 100 centimeter cube from this solution. I'll mix them together, so it is 200 centimeter cube. What about the mass? The mass, I can just multiply the density by the volume. Density is equal to 1 and volume total is 200. So I mix the two solutions together, the sodium hydroxide and the HCl. I mix them together. And when I mix them together, I get a total volume of 200. So I change it from centimeter cube into grams. Multiply this one is 2. So this one is 200. So it is equal to 200 grams. I change it into 200 grams. Okay, so delta H is equal to what? Negative MC delta T divided by the number of moles. What is the mass this time, Julian? What is the mass? It is the mix, the total, صح? The total of the two solutions that I mixed. So if you are mixing two solutions, your mass is equal to what? Mass of the total, which is 200, change it into 200 grams. So it is minus 200. What is the C? The C is given here as the maximum temperature is specific. The maximum temperature required to calculate delta H 4.2. So it is 4.2, and the change in temperature is equal to, I started with 20 and ended with 26. So the change is equal to 6. So 26 minus 20, that's equal to 6. And then what is the number of moles? Can anybody tell me? No, Julian, what is the number of moles that I will find here?
C times V.
So it is C times V for the limiting reagent, but both of them is equal. So this is 100 multiplied by 1, and this is 100 multiplied by 1. So I can choose any of them. Usually I will get the limiting reagent, but because they are both similar, so I'll use any one of them, which is 1 multiplied by 100. But this is centimeter cube, so I have to divide it. So by 1/7. Yes, so it will be 0.100. So it will be 0.100. When I do the calculation, I will get the value as negative 50,400 and then joule per mole. I can change it into kilojoules, so it will be negative 50.4 kilojoule per mole. So again, if you are mixing two solutions together, the first mass is the mass of the total, and the N at the bottom is the number of moles of the limiting reagent. So if you have, Ya Abdullah, مثلا 1 mole multiplied by 100 and 2 moles multiplied by 100, so this is the limiting, you will use this one. But because both of them are similar here, so we can pick any one of them. So this is the answer. Okay, let's have a question about the Hess law. So let's see this one. Mariam, can you try to do this one? Calculate delta H for the reaction. I have two reactions, carbon plus oxygen and iron plus oxygen to form iron oxide. I need to make this equation. So what I will do with the first equation and what I will do with the second equation.
For the first equation, you multiply it by 3.
So I multiplied by 3 because this is 1 carbon and this is 3 carbons.
Yeah.
Very good.
And for the second one, you flip it.
Okay.
And you multiply it by 2. So the delta H becomes positive and multiplied by 2.
Very good. So I will multiply it by negative 2. So it will be reversed. because this one is here in the products and this one is in the reactants, and at the same time this is 1 mole and this is 2 moles, so multiplied by 2. So the values for the first one and the second one, I will get the first one to be negative 820, change it into, so it will be positive 820 multiplied by 2, and the first one is negative 390 multiplied by 3. Then what do I do? The next step to find the total delta H? I will add these two values. So delta H is equal to the addition, which is equal to 470 kilojoules, and that's it. Okay. اوكي احنا حلينا السؤال ده قبل كده زمان يا يزيد، قلنا gaseous hydrogen and fluorine combine to form hydrogen fluoride HF plus H2 plus F2 يديني 2HF with enthalpy change of minus 540. What is the value of heat of formation of hydrogen fluoride? لما أكون بقول heat of formation of hydrogen fluoride, so how many moles I'm talking about يزيد؟ يزيد أنا آسف.
1
1 mole بالظبط. So what will be the equation? بدل H2 and F2 it will be half
1H.
H2 يعني 1H and half F2 give us HF. يبقى delta H of formation اللي انت عايزها يا مستر. How to find it out? Just divide everything by 2. So what is the value of delta HF? Do what to this one?
minus 270.
So this is minus 540 divided by 2, صح? It will be minus 270 ممتاز. Minus 270 kilojoule per mole. So the only difference between the heat of formation and the enthalpy change is that the enthalpy change of the reaction is talking about 2 moles, but the delta HF is talking about 1 mole. This is how we define the delta H of formation. Right. Okay, Abdullah, we need to see how we can do the next one. Calculate the standard enthalpy of the following reaction, and we have the delta H values. So what is my rule? What is my rule? How to find the delta H of the reaction? It's equal to what, ya Abdullah? Products minus reactants or reactants minus products? Is it products minus reactants or reactants minus products?
Reactant minus product.
No, it is the opposite, huh? It is the opposite because it is reactants minus products minus reactants. It is the products minus reactants. Delta HR دايما بتساوي الهيت of enthalpy change of products of formation السم بتاع delta H of products minus السم of delta H of the reactants. طيب كم يا عبد الله البرودكتس هنا؟ The first one is CO2 and the second one is H2O. So CO2 is equal to كم؟ minus 394. But this is for how many moles? This is per 1 mole only. And here is for 18 moles. So I have to multiply this value by what? This is CO2 first. So this is CO2. So I have to multiply it by هنا 1 mole بس. لكن هنا how many moles يا عبد الله؟ CO2 16 moles. So we have to multiply this value by 16. And then the other one is the same. CO2 is H2O is the second product. What is the value for it? It is minus 286. Again, I have to multiply it with what? With 18. So again, if you want to find the delta HR, and you have the delta HF of the products and the reactants minus the total of the products minus the reactants. So what is the reactants, ya Abdullah? C8H8. So I have what here? Negative 269. But how many moles المرة دي? For the reactant it is 2. طيب, and oxygen is an element. So element, the value is always equal to, element always equal to 0. So element is equal to 0. Okay, now we'll do just the math. So we'll get minus 1,0,990. That's kilojoule per mole. So again, whenever you have the heat of formation of the products and reactants and you need the delta HR, just minus the total of the products minus the total of the reactants. Okay. Okay, خلينا نبص على التوب question ده يا مريم. Answer the following questions about oxalic acid. This is a top question, so let's see it. Write the empirical formula of oxalic acid. It's H2C2O4. So what is the empirical formula, ya Miriam? H2C2O4.
HCO2.
HCO2. So this is the minimum number. I divide everything by 2. And the balanced equation for the combustion of oxalic acid. How can we write the equation for combustion? If H2C2O4, I will react it with the oxygen, right? So I will react it with the oxygen to form, what are the products of combustion usually?
Carbon
CO2.
dioxide,
Tamam, and
water.
water. What about the balance? Can we balance? This is H2CO4 plus oxygen, meaning CO2 and H2O. So can we balance it? Carbon is
3 CO2.
2, sir. 2 CO2, and then the hydrogen is the same. What about the oxygen?
Is 2.
ايه اللي 2 يا
2
مريم؟
H2O.
2H2O. Why is that? This is only 2 carbons here, so it is 2 carbons. What about the hydrogen? The hydrogen is already 2, and here it's 2, so no need to change it. Let's see the oxygen. What is the oxygen? You are trying to make this doubled so that you can balance the oxygen. So you will put 2H2O. Now I got you. Okay, so 2 oxygen and 4 oxygen, it is 6. So what will be the oxygen here?
Two O2.
هنا أنا عندي 2 oxygens and هنا أنا عندي 4. So total is 6. And here I have 4 and here 2, so it is already balanced, صح? The oxygen is already balanced. Because I have here 4 atoms of oxygen and I have 2 atoms of oxygen here. I have here 2 and I have here 4, so it is already balanced for oxygen. 6 here and 6 here. Okay, let's see. Carbon is 2, oxygen is 4, and here is صح كده مظبوط. So hydrogen is hydrogen is 4 here. So wait, I don't need to make the hydrogen 4 here. So I don't need to make it 4. I can just make it 2. So as it is 2 here, it's enough. And now 2 hydrogens and here 2 hydrogens. It's already balanced like that. So here I have 4 plus 1 oxygen is 5. And here I can make only half oxygen. So it is 5 now. Now it is balanced. So let's see the next part. Okay, so I have a 5-gram sample of oxalic acid reacts with excess oxygen in a calorimeter. At the end of the reaction, the total heat released by the reaction was calculated to be 14 kilojoules. Calculate the value of delta H in kilojoules for the combustion of the oxalic acid. خلاص, he gave me the Q, صح? He already gave me the Q. So how can I continue? كمل يا جوليان.
Delta H is equal to negative Q over M.
So it's equal to negative Q over N. So okay, then
Okay, so it's gonna be negative 14.0 kilojoules over
what is the number of moles?
5 over 32.
Okay, the molar mass you calculated already, 24, and 4 is 28, and 2 is 30 twice. So 5 over 30 or 32?
No.
Let's see
Wait,
the grams per
we
mole
don't use
again.
oxygen?
This is, we did not calculate the oxygen. So what is the number of oxygen is 16 multiplied by 4. So 16 multiplied by 4 plus 24 plus 2. What is the total? That's 64 and 24 and 2. So that's 90, right?
Yeah.
90 grams per mole. Okay. Now, if I want to find the delta H is equal to the total heat released divided by the number of moles. So it is 14 divided by, if you divide 5 by 90, you get 0.0556. And then if you divide this one by 0.0556, you get the delta H as equal to negative 252, and negative. So kilojoules per mole. So nothing new in this question, okay. Right, let's see, Mariam, the enthalpy of formation of this is below, calculate that. So next one is the enthalpy of formation of these compounds below is given. What is oxygen? Oxygen احنا قلنا عليه 0. So complete the table with the delta H of formation of oxygen, justify your answer. احنا عارفين انها 0 من غير calculation صح؟ Because it is an element, and any element, what is the delta H of F? It is 0. طيب, what is the delta H of the oxalic acid? How can we find it, يا مريم?
You do delta H products minus reactants.
ممتاز. So delta HF أو delta HR is equal to delta HR اللي احنا لسه جايبينها بتساوي delta HF of products minus delta HF of reactants. So delta HF of products, what is that? Mister, you got delta H. So I need to change this one into, so it is already 1 mole. So oh, this is already for 1 mole, صح? عملنا لها calculation. So we got it as H2C2O4 plus O2 يديني 2CO2 plus H2O. مظبوط. يعني it is for 1 mole of the substance. طيب. Now delta HF R بتساوي delta HF products minus reactants. البرودكتس اللي هم كام؟ خلينا نعمل كوبي للإيكويشن هنا. This is our equation, صح؟ Okay, Mariam. So what is the products and what are the reactants? البرودكتس هم مين؟
For the products, you do negative 285.8
Okay.
plus 2,
Multiplied by what?
2 times negative 393.5.
Okay. So this is water, which is negative, plus 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by negative 393.5, and subtract this all from the reactants. One of the reactants is required to find اللي هم delta HF of H2C2O4, and the other one is 0, so we cancel this one. Okay, what is the delta HR? Delta HR, you said, Mr. it is equal to negative 252, صح? مش دي delta H of R of the combustion. So what will be the value? Oops, negative 252, let's write it here. Negative 252 is equal to, can you find the value? Can you try, Mariam, for the answer? Delta HF will be 10. Okay. So I'm just subtracting this one from this one. So the negative delta HF of H2C2O4 is equal to negative 252 minus this one.
Negative 820.8.
Negative 820.8 kilojoule per mole. اوكي that was not very difficult it's okay بس المرة دي بدل ما انا يطلب مني الدلتا اتش ار ومديني كل الدلتا اتش اف هو بس طلب مني he asked me only for one of the delta HFs and give me the delta HR from the previous equation. طيب okay, let's see what we have if we want to find the energy of a photon whose wavelength is 558 and we are given the Planck constant and the speed of light. طيب دور على مين؟ يزيد. قول لي يزيد how to find the energy. Energy is equal to what? H multiplied by what?
V wavelength.
تمام. Multiplied by the frequency. Where do we have the V? No, we don't have the V. We have the wavelength. So it is to what? C is equal to lambda multiplied by the frequency. So if you want the lambda, that's equal to C over the frequency. So H multiplied by C over the frequency. What is the value of H? The Planck's constant is
6.626 multiplied 10 power minus 34.
Okay, what is the C? 2.99 multiplied 10 to the power 8. And what is the frequency? Or what is the wavelength يا مستر؟ انت عايز تجيب wavelength. Sorry, here I wrote this one. H over C over, sorry, I meant to say wavelength طبعا. So what is the wavelength? 558. But there is something wrong with the units here. يا يزيد ايه هي؟ What's wrong with the units? This one is in meter, but this one is in what?
Picometer.
Picometer. So I have to multiply it by 10 to the power of negative 12. So if you want to change from the picometer into the meter, you have to multiply it by 10 to the power of negative 12. Can we do the math, Yazid?
.5 multiply 10 power minus 16.
Okay, so we have three significants here. So 3.55 multiplied 10 to the power of negative 16 ممتاز. And the energy is of course measured in joules.
Joule.
تمام. جميل. طيب السؤال الثاني يا عبد الله بيسألني على البولي exclusion principle. What is the Pauli exclusion principle? So no two electrons can stay in the same orbit, صح؟ Can stay in the same orbit اللي احنا ممكن بنديه معنى تاني اللي احنا قلنا عليه ان هو cannot have the same set of what? Of quantum numbers. Cannot have the same quantum numbers. يعني حتى لو طلع عنده الكوانتم نمبر اللي هو ال N واحد وال L هو نفسه وال ML هو نفسه مستحيل يطلع ال MS هو نفسه. يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ Let's see. ال N هو النمبر بتاعنا same quantum numbers. النمبر بتاع ال N يا عبد الله هو النمبر بتاع الانرجي ليفل. انا ممكن يكون عندي 2 الكترونز موجودين في ال 1s2 صح؟ هما الاثنين في نفس النمبر اوف اللي هو ده. يبقى كامل ان نمبر بتاعي في الفيرست انرجي ليفل. وممكن يكون هما الاثنين موجودين في الاوربيتال بتاعي في السبشيل بتاعي اللي هو مين؟ الاس. سو السبشيل بتاعي اللي هو الاس. طب الاوربيتال بتاعي الاس فيه كام اوربت؟ 1 اوربت بس اللي هو برضو اسمه اس. طيب ممكن يكون الكلام ده مظبوط يعني يكون هما الاثنين في نفس they are in the same shell and they are in the same subshell and they are in the same orbital. لكن هل ممكن يا عبد الله ان هما يكونوا موجودين في نفس الدايركشن؟ No, they cannot be in the same direction. يبقى لو حتى هما موجودين في نفس الاوربت ونفس الانرجي ليفل ونفس السبشيل they cannot be in the same ما ينفعش يكونوا spinning in the same spin. They have to be in opposite spin. لو واحد فيهم ماشي in the direction of clockwise انا بديله رقم اسمه ايه يا عبد الله؟ اسمه plus half. طب لو كان الانتي كلوك وايز بسميه ماينس هاف. اوكي، يبقى مستحيل ان يكون عندي اثنين الكترونز ليهم نفس الاربعه كوانتم نمبرز، حتى لو ده كان نفسه وده نفسه وده نفسه، فمستحيل الاخراني يكون نفسه. ليه؟ لان هو لا اما بلس هاف لا اما ماينس هاف. ينفع الاثنين يكونوا بلس هاف يا عبد الله؟ ما ينفعش. ليه؟ لان انت لو قلت الاثنين بلس هاف يبقى انت you are writing it like that. Is this correct يا عبد الله؟ Is this both of them going in the same direction correct? No. فلو انت قلت الاثنين are going in the same direction كأنك بتقول الاثنين plus half. لا ما ينفعش، لازم يكون واحد plus half. لو واحد كان plus half الثاني هيكون ايه؟ minus half.
ما
لكن ممكن تغير الباقيين عادي برضو. يعني ممكن اقول الالكترون دوت في 2s والالكترون ده في 3s، يبقى هما الاثنين ليهم different ايه يا مريم دلوقتي؟ different ايه؟ different n. يعني ايه different n يا مريم؟ يعني different shell number، صح؟ ده shell number كام وده shell number كام يا مريم؟ ده 2 وده 3. طب ممكن اقول عليهم ليهم different L. يعني ايه different L؟ يعني واحد موجود في ال 2S وواحد موجود في ال 2B. هل هم في نفس السب شيل يا مريم ولا different sub shell؟
different.
different sub shell، يبقى هقول عليهم ليهم different L number. طب ممكن اقول يا جوليان كمان ليهم different، ليهم الرقم الثالث كان ممكن يكون مختلف اللي انا بسميه الام ال. يعني ايه different ام ال؟ يعني عندي ثلاثه اوربيتالز بي اكس وبي واي وبي زد. different ام ال يا جوليان يعني واحد في البي اكس واحد في البي واي واحد في البي زد. يعني different ايه؟ different ام ال يعني different orbitals. different ام ال means different orbitals. طب و different ام اس معناها ايه يا مريم؟ different ام اس معناها different spin. معناها different spin. ايه الارقام البوسيبل انها يكون عندي في الام اس يا مريم؟ either plus half او negative half. ما ينفعش الاثنين يكونوا plus half او negative half طالما هما في نفس الاوربيتال. طب لو هما في different orbital ينفع الاثنين يكونوا plus half؟ لو هما في different orbital ينفع يكونوا في plus half؟ عادي يا مستر، ده plus half وده plus half، مش مشكله. ليه؟ لان هم in different orbitals. لكن لو كانوا في same orbital so they have to have different spin. اوكي؟ طيب what is the maximum number of electrons that can be present؟ نرجع تاني. يزيد. ايه النمبر اوف الكترونز الماكسيمم نمبر اللي انا ممكن الاقيه في ال 3 بي اكس؟ اقصى عدد الاقيه في 3 بي اكس
6.
خد بالك هو بيقول اكس ولا واي وزد؟
X.
يعني واحد من الثلاثه اوربيتالز ولا الثلاثه كلهم؟ هو بيتكلم على واحد من الثلاثه دول ولا بيتكلم عليهم كلهم؟
عن واحد.
عن واحد. طب ايه كلمه 3 معناها ايه؟ ان هم ثلاثه ولا ان هم in the energy level number 3؟
Energy level number
Okay,
3.
so he is talking about one of them only. What is the maximum number that I can have in this orbital؟
3.
ايه رايك؟ هو بيتكلم على ده وده وده ولا واحد فيهم بس؟
واحد.
يبقى الماكسيمم نمبر of electrons that this one can carry is 2 or 6؟
2.
2 electrons بس. So the maximum is 2 electrons. ممتاز. لو انا جيت يا جوليان وقلت ال 3p what is the maximum number of orbitals؟
6.
6 electrons because now he is talking ممتاز. He is talking about the 3 orbitals not one of them only. طب لو قال ال 3d كام يا عبد الله؟ 3d الاس بي كام يا عبد الله؟ كام اوربيتال؟ الاس سب شيل بي 1 اوربيتال 1. طب والبي في كام؟ احنا قلنا البي في كام؟
3.
3. طب والدي في كام؟ نرجع نفتكر مع بعض.
6.
5 orbitals صح؟ الدي في 5 orbitals يا عبد. So how many electrons in the 5 orbitals؟ هو بيقول كلهم. So how many total electrons maximum؟ كل واحد فيه 2 يبقى 5 multiplied by 2 is 10 electrons. 10 electrons. Again, if it is 1p, it is 2 electrons. If it is all the p, it is 6 electrons. طب if it is all the D it's 10 electrons. طب all the 5F الاف يا مستر فيه 5 orbitals يبقى كام الكترون يزيد ماكسيمم؟ الاف فيه كام؟
10
7 صح؟
14
يبقى 14 electrons. يبقى الماكسيمم is equal to 14 electrons. طب مريم كل ال 2 دي كل ال 2 دي how many electrons maximum؟ مريم ايه رايك؟ ال 2 دي كم؟ 2 انا مش سامع صوتك واطي قوي.
10
10 بتقولي 10 ولا بتقولي ايه؟ مش سامع. بتقولي 10 ولا بتقولي ايه يا مريم؟
10
none ولا 10؟
10
10 واي 10 هو احنا عندنا في التو في دي سب شيل؟ اوه يا مستر لا. الدي موجود فين يا مريم؟ This is a tricky question. موجود فين أول مرة؟ ها؟
3
في 3. So there is nothing called there is no 2D. There is nothing called 2D صح؟ called 2D. ليه يا مريم؟ أول مرة هشوفه هيبقى في 3D. مفيش حاجة اسمها 2D صح؟ مش كده؟ بص كده هنا البريدك تيبل أول مرة بشوف الدي فين؟ في ال 3D يا مستر هنا. There is nothing called 2D. جميل. طيب هل في حاجة اسمها 3F يا عبد الله؟ هل في حاجة اسمها 3F؟ لا يا مستر. أول مرة بشوف الإف بيكون فين؟ في الفورث. أول مرة بشوف الإف بيكون في الفورث. برضه هقول له is equal to 0. 0 electrons. Okay? Take care. This is a tricky question. طيب خلينا نفتكر يا جوليان. What is the electronic configuration of carbon and phosphorus using the orbital diagram؟ خد بالك لما بيقول لي orbital diagram so I need to make it in the form of boxes. Either electrons in box diagram. So what is carbon and what is phosphorus? Let's do this fast. Julian يلا. Carbon is 6 electrons. So what is the configuration?
2s, 2,
Okay.
2s2,
Okay.
2p2.
Okay. بس أنا لازم أرسمها له في boxes. So how I will draw it?
One box
One
with
box.
2 arrows upside down.
Okay. And
And
then?
another box which looks the same.
Okay.
And then 3 boxes
Okay.
with one in the first box and the other in the second box.
ممتاز جميل جدا. طيب مريم ايه رايك البي how many electrons in the P? There is 15 electrons. So what is the configuration مريم?
One S2,
Okay. Okay.
2S2,
Okay.
2P6,
جميل.
4S.
دخلنا من السكند على الثيرد ها يلا بقى. وهي there is what? PS2 صح؟ نكمل احنا ماشيين هنا 1S2 2S2 2P6 3S2 وبعدين 3P كام؟
3P3.
3P3 ممتاز. سو يا مستر هتعمل الكونفيجريشن بتاع دول 1 box second 2S هنا 2P6 how to draw 2P6
You draw 3 up and 3 down.
3 up and 3 down they are all full. Okay and then 3S2 I will draw it as
1 up, 1 down.
1 up and down and then 3P2 I will draw it as
1 up, 1 up.
1 up 1 up 2 electrons. جميل جدا. اوكي طيب عايزين نعمل الالكترونيك كونفيجريشن يا يزيد بتاع الكروميوم. Let's remember that chromium was an exception. مش عايزين ننسى ان chromium كان exception. Okay. So what is chromium? This is the one here. Chromium. This is, let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay. What is chromium? it is here. فكرني كده. Can we start from argon and then يزيد ها
3d5 for S1.
3 خلصنا الارجون بعدين 3d5
3d for
and
S1.
4s1. يبقى انا كان عندي في الاول 4s2 and then 3d4 and then I removed one electron from here. لكن يزيد ما شاء الله عليه على طول 4s2 3d5. جميل يا يزيد. طيب ما تقول لنا الكبر كمان. قول لنا كمان يا كبر يزيد الكبر. البي قول لنا كمان يزيد الكبر قبل ما تمشي. نفس الكلام يا مستر.
AR
اوكي.
um, 3d10 for S1.
جميل جدا. 4s1 3d10 او 3d10 4s1 both of them are okay. طيب عايزين نعمل يا عبد الله الاكسجين بس اوكسايد يعني الاو 2 ماينس. عايزين نعمل الاو 2 وبعد كده الاو وبعد كده نحط عليها 2 الكترونز ولا remove 2 electrons from it. So I'll make the oxygen. What is oxygen? يلا نمشي مع بعض. What is oxygen? Find this. يلا عبد الله let's start from the beginning. It is 1s2 then 2s2 and then 2p كام عند الاكسجين
4
2p4. So it is 1s2 2s2 2p4. Since you said 2 minus, do you add electrons ولا do you remove electrons?
remove
ازاي مش ده negative ion? How it becomes negative ion? By adding electrons ولا removing electrons? Oh, it is negative ion, Mr. So it is anion.
okay.
Hmm. So I will add 2 electrons صح? It will be 2p4, it will change into 2p6. Next one is مريم. خلينا نشوف الصوديوم. So this sodium I will lose 1 electron, so it will be neon, and then after the neon it will be anything يا مريم بعد النيون.
No.
Nothing, so it's just neon plus. طب Mn2 plus Mr. هنا you will add until argon, so it will be argon, and then after argon you have 4s2, and then you have 1 2 3 4 5, so 3d5. I need to remove how many electrons there Mariam, huh? How many electrons I need to remove? 2 electrons,
Two.
right? 2 electrons. So
Yeah.
I will remove them from the D or from the S?
The S.
From the S. So I'll just cancel this out. It will be 3d5. كويس جدا. And then Fe3 you will do the same thing. It's also argon, and then also 4s2, and then 3d1 2 3 4 5 6. So I will remove 3 electrons. So I'll remove 3 from here and 1 from here from this D. So it will be 3d5. Okay. The last one here is scandium and potassium. So scandium is the same for S2 3d1. This is not difficult. And potassium, that's easy to do. خلاص. Okay, we'll get our first break. That's 5 minutes until 8:18. Okay. So the next questions will be on the periodic trends. Okay, he's asking to write equation to illustrate the first and second ionization energy of sodium. So for sodium or any element that I want to make the equation of ionization, I need to write it in the gaseous form. So don't forget to write the gaseous form. It's Na, gaseous atoms has changed into Na plus because there is an ionization. So you lost an electron and one electron is removed. And then the second ionization is removed from the positive ion. So this one, you will lose one more electron to form Na2 plus, and one electron again is removed. This is the first step, and this is the second step. He is asking why this ionization, second ionization energy is always larger than the first. ليه دايما السكند ionization energy اللي هو دوت is much higher than this one. The reason for that is that because I'm removing the electron from a positive ion. Until الأول, when you removed an electron from something here, it was a neutral atom. So the attraction between this neutral atom and the electron is not that much. بينما لما تيجي تشيل من هنا, you will remove it from a positive ion. So here this is a positive ion, Na plus and electron. Which one, يا مريم, the attraction is more? The neutral and the negative ولا البوزيتيف ولا النيجاتيف؟ مين أقوى الاتراكشن؟
Positive and negative.
ممتاز. So the attraction between the positive and negative is much higher. That's why you need more energy to remove the electron from the positive ion than from the neutral atom. Okay. And the next question is asking, the second ionization energy of sodium is 9 times greater than its first, while the third is only 1.5 times greater than its second. ليه فرق كبير قوي؟ السكند بتاع الصوديوم مقارنة بالفيرست is very big، بينما الديفرنس ما بين الثيرد والسكند is not that much. Why is this difference يا جوليان؟ ايه رأيك؟ So if you see the difference ما بين الفيرست والسكند هنا في حوالي 9 times difference، بينما بين السكند والثيرد the difference is only 1.5 time. Why is this big much difference يا جوليان? What do you think?
You're removing it, like, I don't know.
Okay, when you make the configuration, can you tell me the configuration of the first one? That's 2, 8, 1. When you remove one electron, what will be the configuration? It will be 2, 8. So this is the first ionization energy, correct? طيب, if you want to remove one extra electron in the second, so it will move to make the second ionization energy. This is the first, you remove one electron, it becomes stable. Then you make from 2, 8 into what? 2, 7, 1. Is it stable now or unstable?
Unstable.
Unstable. So the atom prefers that you remove the first electron. It's okay, because when you remove this one, you will become like the neon. You will become stable. But if you remove one more electrons and become 2, 7, you become unstable. That's why it will resist too much this change, because you are trying to remove the electron and make unstable atom. طيب ايه رايك في الثيرد one when I change from 2 to 7 to 2 to 6? Is there any difference ولا هما الاثنين unstable؟
Both of them are unstable.
Both are unstable, so it doesn't matter now. It doesn't matter. This is not much resistance. So the first time the atom is having high ionization energy difference. Why? Because in the first one you remove one electron, so become stable. Now you want to remove the second electron, it will become unstable ion. So it will become unstable ion. So I don't want it to be that unstable. That's why the ionization energy is 9 times bigger. So big resistance to removal of electron. While the third one, the third one, مستر خلاص ما بقتش فارقه. You took from me 2 to 7, I become unstable. طب 2 to 6. طب اللي بعديها 2 to 5, I don't care also. So every time after that, the ionization energy increases, but not by much big difference. وهو ده الاساس اللي احنا كنا بنحدد عليه الجروب نمبر، صح؟ مش احنا كنا بنعرف الجروب نمبر منين؟ نقول البيجست difference is from where to where, first to second ولا second to third يا جوليان؟ biggest difference ما بين مين ومين؟ First to second. That's why we will know that it is in which group? Sodium in group 1. Why this is the biggest difference here? Because it's trying to change from stable to unstable. The same thing happens in magnesium. ولكن المغنيسيوم المرة دي بيحصل فين؟ Is it in the first ولا in the second ionization energy ولا in the third؟ فين البيجست جامب هنا يا مريم؟ Is it from the first ولا في السكند ولا في الثيرد؟ مين أكبر بيجست جامب؟ اللي هتتحول من الستيبل للانستيبل. So where is the biggest jump يا جوليان؟ من الستيبل للانستيبل. فين الستيبل للانستيبل؟ From the first to second.
Third.
So the third one. So the biggest jump is between 2 and 3, not between 1 and 2, because 1 and 2 you are changing from unstable into unstable, so not much. 2 to 8 to 1 you are changing from 2 8 1 into 2 to 8, so this is from unstable to stable, so this is good. The biggest jump is when you change always from the stable to the unstable. على فكرة, if you told him the explanation like that clearly in the exam and you draw the configuration, he will give you the mark because you know what you are talking about. This is the easiest way to explain. Mister, the biggest jump will always be changing from stable configuration into unstable one. ليه في resistance؟ أنا قاعد ومستقر وstable. Why you want to change me? So we will change it into 2 7. طيب لكن بعد كده من 3 to 4 هيفرق معاه حاجة؟ الفورث؟ لا ولا حاجة خلاص يا مستر. أنا كده unstable وهتغير ل unstable برضه ما يفرقش معايا حاجة. طب 2 to 5 برضه ما يفرقش unstable. So biggest jump is between 2 and 3. That's why we will say it's in group what يا جوليان? In group number 2. ده في حالة مين؟ المغنيسيوم. And aluminium will be the same in group 3 and so on. طيب, I need to arrange the following particles in order of increasing size. Which one has the biggest size, Yazid? Huh? Increasing size. Is it sodium or Na plus?
Na plus.
Na plus has bigger size ولا smaller size? إيه رأيك؟
Bigger.
Bigger size. Why it is bigger size? You are saying that it is bigger size than Na. Why it is bigger size?
Because it lost an electron.
When it loses an electron and you have the same nuclear charge, what happens? When you lose an electron and you have the same nuclear charge, هنا عندك كم بروتون؟ 11 protons. and هنا 11 protons. هنا 11 electrons. هنا 10 electrons. إيه رأيك؟
Attraction increases.
Attraction increases, so it will decrease. برافو عليك. When the attraction increases, the size becomes زي ما كنا بنقول المother, she's attracting her children more. So when the attraction increases, the size will become less. So this one is bigger. So Na is bigger. طيب. طب السي والCl minus يا عبد الله. Let's see. Cl وCl minus. Here I have 17 electrons, and here I have how many electrons? 18. And 17 protons and 17 protons. So where is the attraction more يا عبد الله? 17 electrons ولا 18 electrons? Which one is more attraction? 17 protons can attract the 17 electrons easily ولا ال 18؟
18.
طيب أنا بقول لك على حاجة. I tell you to keep in your pocket 17 mobiles. Is it easier to control it? ولا أقول لك لا شيل في جيبك 18 mobiles. Which one is easier for you to control? The less number ولا
17.
the less number صح. يبقى 17 electrons the attraction will be more. لكن ال 18 electrons the attraction will be less. طب لو قلت لك خلي معاك موبايل واحد هتضيعه ولا it is very easy to hold?
Very
It's very easy. So the attraction is more ولا less? For
More.
one mobile only? So when you increase the electrons, the attraction become less. What
Less.
happens when the attraction become less? The size gets bigger ولا smaller?
Sorry, mister, can you repeat?
When the attraction become هنا احنا قلنا less size طبعا لكن more attraction. انا زودت هنا عملت ايه في الاتراكشن؟ more attraction عشان more ايه less electrons يبقى less size. لكن هنا الالكترونز زادت الاتراكشن هيحصل له ايه؟ You said less electrons because you added more electrons. So less electrons, the attraction will be less, so the size gets bigger.
bigger.
So Cl minus is bigger than Cl. Cl minus is bigger than Cl. Yes, Yazid, okay. Okay. So Cl minus is bigger than Cl, لكن ال Na plus is smaller than Na. Okay, one more. طيب عايزين نرتب دول يا مريم. Need to arrange these ones. How can we arrange them? Let's bring the periodic table and try to arrange them. أنا عندي F minus عندي NF minus بقى وNA plus وO2 minus وMG2 plus وAL3 plus كلهم عدد الالكترونز فيهم ايه يا مريم؟ ايه رأيك؟ كلهم النمبر اوف الكترونز is it isoelectronic ولا not isoelectronic؟ كلهم فيهم كام يا مريم؟ مريم كلهم فيهم كام الكترون؟ ايه رأيك؟
9.
Here this is 10 electrons جميل كلهم 10 electrons جميل جدا. طب which one has more protons? The one that has more protons will have more attraction ولا less attraction?
More attraction.
More attraction. And when you have more attraction, the size becomes
Smaller.
less. And he wants the bigger size. So the biggest size will be the one that has the smallest number of electrons, which is the smallest
AL3 plus.
لا the smallest number of protons. مين أقل واحدة عندها attraction؟ اللي فيها أقل protons. مين فيها أقل واحدة فيها أقل protons؟
N3 minus.
N3 minus. So N3 minus, the one that has the least number of protons, so the least attraction, so the biggest size. And then after it,
O2 minus.
O2 minus, and then
F
F
minus.
minus, and then neon, and then Na plus, and then Mg2 plus, and then Al3 plus. The Al3 plus has the biggest number of protons, so it has the biggest attraction, so it has the smallest size. Again, when you are comparing elements that have the same number of electrons, يعني same number of electrons means isoelectronic, same number of electrons means isoelectronic, you have to compare isoelectronic, يعني same number of electrons, you have to compare the number of protons. The number of protons. The one that has the biggest number of protons will be the smallest, like Al3 plus, and the one that has the least number of protons will have the least attraction, so it will be the biggest size, like we said, the nitride ion. طيب Mariam, let's see. Consider the two chemical species Se and Se2 plus. Se and Se2 plus. Write the electronic configuration of each of the species. Se and Se2 minus. يلا يا مريم قول لنا ال Se وال Se2 minus. مستر ال Se خلينا نساعد مريم شوية. It's here. Se is here. So I will نبدأ من ايه؟ من الارجون. And then
3D
في 4s الأول 4s2 and then 3d كام؟
4s2 and then 3D 10
and then
4p
4p 1 2 3 4 صح؟ طيب if I need to make Se2 ده Se طبعا. طب if I need to make Se2 minus I will add electrons ولا remove electrons؟
add
add electrons. So it will be 4s2 3d10 and then 4p
4p6.
4p6. كويس جدا. Why the radius of SE2 minus is bigger than the radius of SE؟ ليه ال SE2 minus is bigger than SE؟ The same reply صح؟ The same reply. The number of electrons is the same or different?
Different.
So which one has more protons؟ مستر العكس يا مستر، هنا البروتونز is the same مش الالكترونز the same. The protons is equal. امال مين اللي اكتر الكترونز؟ مين اللي فيها الكترونز اكتر؟
SE2 minus.
So it will be bigger because the attraction is.
Stronger.
ايه رايك الاتراكشن من لما يكون معايا موبايلات كتير في جيبي الاتراكشن ليها هيزيد ولا يقل؟ مين اللي سهل عنده ان هو يعمل اتراكشن؟ الراجل اللي ماشي وماسك في ايديه موبايل 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 وهنا 1 2 3 4 كل دول ماشي بيهم، ولا الراجل اللي ماسك في ايديه موبايل واحد بس؟ مين فيهم لو حاولت اشده منه التليفون مش هيسيبه خالص؟ This one. Why? Because he has only one electron. So the attraction to this electron, to one electron, is bigger. صح؟ لكن الاتراكشن هنا is what؟ راجل محتار امسك ده ولا امسك ده؟ So attraction here is smaller. So when you have more electrons, the attraction is what يا مريم؟ smaller ولا bigger؟
Less.
ها؟ less. برافو عليك. So when the attraction is less, the size gets
Bigger.
bigger. Size gets bigger. The size gets bigger. ممتاز. طيب بيقول لي كمان يا جوليان، بيقول لي اوكي SE2 is isoelectronic with krypton. هما الاثنين عندهم نفس النمبر of electrons. The SE2 and krypton. Because when you lose when you gain 2 electrons, you will become like krypton. Which one it's easier to remove an electron؟ مين اللي هيكون الايونيزيشن بتاعته اصغر يا جوليان؟ السيلينيوم ولا الكريبتون؟
Selenium.
Why؟
Because krypton is a noble gas.
جميل حلو، بس انا عايز more explanation electron wise and proton wise.
Krypton has more protons.
So it has more nuclear charge, so the attraction will be
Stronger.
stronger attraction. So ionization energy will be bigger. صح؟ If you want to compare the same number of electrons and the different number of protons, the one that has more protons, is the one that has قلنا ايه؟ The smallest size and the stronger attraction. The size is smaller صح؟ The size is smaller, the attraction is bigger, stronger, والionization energy is bigger. طيب. عندنا هنا يا عبد الله الاكسبشن بتاع الايونيزيشن انرجي الاولاني. So the first exception, we know that there is always an exception between these two groups. So let's see which groups. He's telling me that the first ionization energy of indium, where is the indium here? And cadmium, where is cadmium? It's here. بيقول لي ionization energy of indium is lower than that of cadmium. مع ان المفروض يا مستر ان انت you are going to the right, when you go to the right the ionization energy increases. But indium is still more than cadmium. Why is that? Why is that? تيجي نعمل الكترونيك كونفيجريشن ما بينهم يا عبد الله. تعالى نعمل الكترونيك كونفيجريشن. هما الاثنين وقفوا عند الكريبتون، وبعد الكريبتون الانديوم ده وده الكادميوم. كامل انديوم كريبتون بعدين 4s2 الاثنين 4s2 3D9 بالكادميوم 3D9 هنا 3D10 and 3D9 and then 3D10 4P1. Which one is easier يا عبد الله to remove electron؟ 4 صح؟ لا احنا بنتكلم على 5. I'm sorry we are 5. احنا هنا في level 5 مش 4. So we have to remove all this and put 5 and put here 4. So this is 5 5 5 4 4. أنه أسهل أشيل من ال 5P1 ولا أشيل من ال DT10 من ال D10 من ال D10 ولا من ال 5P1
P1
من ال P1 ليه يا جوليان من ال P1
because it's not full.
عشان عندي هنا في إيه هنا في إيه هنا ما بين ده وما بين الإلكترون في كل الإلكترونز بتاعت الدي بتعمل لي إيه هنا حاجة اسمها إيه shielding صح بتعمل لي shielding مستر when you try to remove the electron from here this is P1 كأنه قاعد لوحده كده في الشارع 5P1 is here and there is a big shield by the 4D10 electrons عندي 10 electrons عاملين shielding قبل اللاير اللي بعده لكن لما تيجي تخش بقى هنا وتعمل الاتراكشن من الدي 10 نفسهم خلاص you are already inside so the electron in the 5P1 needs less energy because it is less shielded because it is more shielded by the 4D electrons أي electron في جروب 12 في جروب 13 will say there is a difference in shielding كل دول عاملين shielding عاملين لاير ما بين الالكترونز الاكسترنال الكترون والنيوكليوس بتخلي من الصعب زي ما قلنا قبل كده this is the nucleus and this is the external electron اللي هو ال 5P1 كل دول اللي في ال 4D عاملين شيلد بيقللوا الاتراكشن ولا بيزودوه they decrease the attraction so it's much easier to remove the electron. Okay, one more question, yeah, Miriam. One more question. The first electron affinity of oxygen is exothermic, while the second endothermic. Explain why. السؤال ده مهم جدا. Why the first is exothermic and the second is endothermic? So this is the oxygen. I need to add one electron to it to become O minus. Here you need to add energy or release energy. You need to release energy. So when you need to change from O minus into O2 minus, you are absorbing energy, which means that you are making a bond or releasing a bond. Let's see the explanation. Do you know the explanation, Mariam?
Breaking a bond.
So here is releasing heat, ولكن here is absorbing heat. Why is that?
Because you make a bond.
ماشي كويس. أنا هعمل بوند كده كده اهو. I will need to make a bond كده كده ما بين الإلكترون دوت والأتوم. ما بين الإلكترون ده والأتوم. بس إيه رأيك يا مريم؟ زي ما قلنا it's easier to remove the electron في ionization energy. We said it's easier to remove the electron from the neutral than removing the electron from the positive صح؟ طب ينفع اقول العكس هنا فاكر لما قلنا كده it's easier to break the electron from the neutral than breaking the electron from the positive. طب نفس الكلام ايه رايك مين اسهل؟ احط الالكترون على النيوترال add electron to neutral ولا add electron to negative؟ مين اسهل؟
Neutral.
Neutral. Here it's very difficult because you will put the electron, you will put it on the negative. So there is much repulsion. ما بين الالكترون that you want to put and the negative ion. That's why you need to make very big bond. طب يا مستر هنا كان make bond برضه فكان releasing energy. لكن هنا يا مستر the amount of energy that you are using is not enough. So I'm going to absorb more energy here. So to absorb more energy. Again, what is the reason in the exam? There is a much bigger repulsion for adding one negative electron to a negative ion than adding a negative electron to a neutral atom, طيب شوية exceptions كده على الماشي مريم. First ionization of energy يا مريم of aluminum and magnesium. Which one is supposed to be bigger يا مريم? Which one is supposed to be bigger? magnesium ولا aluminum؟ من غير exception. Without exception, Mr. Magnesium is on the left, where aluminum is on the right. So you should be decreasing, well, increasing the ionization energy. But I found that the aluminum actually is less. Why it is less?
Because in group 2 and 3 there's an exception, you fit them.
Okay, but this is an exception. I need to tell what is the reason of the exception, not only to tell that there is exception. I need to also to mention why there is an exception. I will always say this sentence. Just let me give you this sentence to memorize. The electron in the 3p is more energetic. ودايما أقول if you want to get the mark of this question, the first step to do is write configuration. خلاص يا مريم? If you want to get a mark, the first step is to write the configuration. لأن أنا when I write the configuration, I will see which electrons I'm removing. So the magnesium is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and خلاص ده المغنيسيوم. طب والالومنيوم مستر 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p1. Which is more energetic, the 3p1 or the 2s2?
The 3p1.
The 3p is more energetic. So I will tell him this is more energetic electron. Why it's more energetic electron? It is more shielded. It is more shielded. It is more shielded. كل دول زي ما قلنا هنا في الانديوم والكادميوم، هنا في شيلدنج جامد مع الالكترونز اللي في النص الدي الكترونز. It is more shielded by the by the 3s electrons. مفيش هنا طبعا مفيش هنا دي، هنا 3s electrons. So more shielded. طيب تاني لما اجي اتكلم على الاكسبشن tell me Mr. 3 things to write in the exception ما بين 2 and 3 so I can get the mark every time. So what are the things that I will say يا مريم تاني? What are the 3 things that I will say to make the exception?
Configuration.
أعمل electronic configuration.
And you say that SP1 has more shielding
So
and it's more energetic.
So the P is more energetic, P electron more energetic because it is shielded by what? By the S electrons. Shielded by the S electrons. وحسب بقى الكونفيجريشن بتاعك كان فيه هنا 3S يبقى هتقول 3S، 4S you will say 4S، وهنا كان 3P هتقول 3P. تاني I will say 3 things to write in the exception always. The exception ما بين مين ومين يا عبد الله؟ ما بين group 2 and group 3. Write the electronic configuration. Say the electron in P is more energetic because it is shielded by the S electrons. طيب عبد الله, what is the exception of oxygen and nitrogen? The exception between oxygen and nitrogen اللي هو group كام وكام؟ group 5 and 6. There is always exception ما بين group 5 and 6. Also, Mr. What are the things to get the mark here? Oxygen and nitrogen. برضو هعمل electronic configuration. So step 1, make the electronic configuration active. The oxygen is 1s2, 2s2, 2p. Is it 2p4? I forgot. It's 2p4. طب والنيتروجين 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 3. This is the electrons. I need you to tell me what's something that's available in one and not available in one, yeah, Abdullah. Then whenever he asks you about the exception between group 5 and group 6, always tell him there is something which is available in one of them and not available in the other. What is that, yeah, Abdullah? ايه اللي موجود في ال O ومش موجود في ال N؟
2p, the difference between 2p3 and 2p4.
Okay, so there is one electron هنا زيادة. الالكترون ده بيعمل لي حاجة اسمها ايه؟ ما بين when there are two electrons together in the same orbital, what happens between them? A spin repulsion. هل انا قاعد لوحدي في الأوضة كده ابقى مبسوط ولا جه واحد يقعد معايا في الأوضة؟ لا, I'm happy like that. I am happy like that. I don't want anybody to sit with me in the room. I want to be alone in the dorm room. Then somebody comes and sits here. هل هيكون مرحب بيه ولا I don't want him? It will not be. So the spin repulsion cause the electron to be not welcomed. صح؟ So هحتاج energy كتير عشان أشيله. I will need less energy to remove it. So less energy is required to remove. Less energy is required to remove. ليه يا عبد الله؟ I don't want him. هو قاعد معايا في الأوضة، واحد قال لي تعالى هتفق معاك وهمشيه. Is he going to take more energy ولا less energy? Less energy. ليه؟ مع السلامة، ما حدش طايقك، ما حدش عايزك هنا. خلاص؟ So this electron, this outermost electron, there is a spin repulsion ما بين الالكترونز اللي موجودة في ال 3px. So هي 3p ولا 2p؟ في ال 2px. So ثلاث حاجات اقولهم. اول حاجه electronic configuration، ثاني حاجه ارسم البوكس. So number 2 draw, and number 3 step repulsion mean less energy is required to remove the electron. دايما ده ما بين group 5 and 6 exception. I will always say like that, and this is the exception ما بين 2 and 3. I will say these three things. طيب الصوديوم والليثيوم يا مريم مفيش exception صح؟ So the sodium and lithium مفيش exception. الحاجات اللي ما فيهاش exception I will just mention the three things that we agreed about. ايه هم الثلاث حاجات اللي احنا اتفقنا عليهم يا مستر لما يكونش فيه exception؟ ايه هم؟ النيوكليار تشارج والديستانس from the nucleus والشيلدنج. ايه رايك يا مريم؟ قولي لي الفرق ما بين الصوديوم والليثيوم. ايه ده يا مستر ده في نفس الجروب؟ لا في تحت. So there is no exception. So lithium and sodium. Nuclear charge with distance والshielding يا مريم. ها. What about the nuclear charge? Which one has more nuclear charge?
The same.
So ازاي number of protons is the same ولا different number of protons؟ ايه رايك؟
Different.
So nuclear charge increases when you go from lithium to sodium. لكن ايه اللي بيحصل كمان؟ The distance from the nucleus when you go from lithium to sodium increases when you go to sodium. It's not negative, it's not positive. So the distance from the nucleus increases. لما تزود النيوكلير تشارج الاتراكشن increase. لما تزود الديستانس الاتراكشن decrease. لما تزود الشيلدنج، هل في زياده في الشيلدنج ولا same shielding in different levels؟ ايه اللي حصل لما نزلت من الليثيوم للصوديوم؟ ايه اللي حصل للشيلدنج؟
More shielding.
More shielding. When there is more shielding, what happens to the attraction?
Decreases.
So less attraction. يبقى عندي يا مستر حاجتين بيعملوا less attraction. So less attraction حاجتين، وحاجة واحدة بس بتعمل more attraction. يبقى مين اللي يكسب؟ الاثنين دول، ده وده عملوا these two make more attraction. This one and this one make more less attraction. الاثنين دول عملوا less attraction وده عمل more attraction. مين اللي يكسب؟ حاجتين ولا حاجة واحدة؟ Two things cause less attraction. So what is the final reply? Less attraction. So less attraction. So the ionization energy of sodium is less than that of sodium, less than that of lithium. طيب برضو الصوديوم والمغنيسيوم there is no exception. Also in sodium and magnesium there is no exception. Again يا جوليان I will talk about the three things. ايه هم الثلاث حاجات؟
Nuclear charge,
Nuclear
shielding,
charge. Okay.
and radius.
Nuclear charge increase لما تروح للمغنيسيوم. الراديوس أو الديستانس from nucleus in magnesium does it change ولا it is the same؟
It's the same.
Same. والshielding
Same.
same. The only factor which is making effect is a factor that increases the nuclear charge, so increases attraction. So what is the net effect when you go from sodium to magnesium? Of course, the attraction increases. This is the net effect because this is the only effect. Net effect is increasing the attraction, so the net effect is the ionization energy will ايه اللي هيحصل؟ When you go right from sodium to magnesium, what have increases. So it will increase. الفاكتور الوحيد اللي بيشتغل هنا بيزود الاتراكشن، يبقى الايونيزيشن انرجي will increase. لكن هنا في 3 فاكتورز، 2 بيقللوا الاتراكشن وواحد بيزود الاتراكشن، يبقى الاثنين اللي بيقللوا بيكسبوا. طالما الاتراكشن قل يبقى الايونيزيشن انرجي when you go down will decrease. This is very 4 important things to memorize. ايه هم يا مستر الاربع حاجات؟ اول حاجه الاكسبشن ما بين، so number 1 الاكسبشن ما بين 2 و 3، وتاني حاجه الاكسبشن ما بين 5 و 6، وتالت حاجه النورمال رول داون ذا جروب، ورابع حاجه النورمال رول across the period. الاربعه دول I have to memorize them very well before any exam. طيب السؤال ده سؤال عادي، بيقول لي the successive ionization energy values of element Y are given in the table. So I think it's very easy to know يا عبد الله now where is the biggest difference and what is the group number. Where is the biggest difference يا عبد الله ما بين مين ومين؟ 1 و 2 ولا 2 to 3 ولا 3 to 4 ولا 4 to 5 ولا 5 to 6 ولا 6 to 7؟ ايه رايك؟ نعمل subtraction. ايه رايك؟ نعمل subtraction. ده ناقص ده is minus 200 صح؟ وده minus ده is almost 400. ده minus ده is almost ايه 900. طب وهنا هنا تقريبا 2000، وهنا ايه رايك في الديفرنس هنا؟ almost 11,000. Where is the biggest jump يا عبد الله؟ From where to where? 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. Where is the biggest jump يا عبد الله؟
From
ايه
before the
أكبر
last
رقم؟
one to the last one.
From this one to this one, from 5 to 6. This is the biggest difference. 11,000 مرة واحدة. So we take the one on the left ولا on the right? take the one on the left ولا right؟ أنا بلاقي الديفرنس ما بين ده وده أكبر حاجة من ده وده. آخد اللي في الليفت ولا آخد اللي في الرايت يا عبد الله؟ I'll choose which one, left or right? I'll choose the left one. What
Right.
is left? لا بختار ال left one. So left is 5, so it is in group what? 5. تاني if the jump is ما بين 1 و 2 يا عبد الله I take 1 ولا take 2؟ take the left one. So it is in group what? 1. طب if the jump is ما بين 6 and 7. If the jump is ما بين 6 and 7 take the left one. So it is in which group? 6. So always take the number which is on the left. شوف ال biggest jump فين and take the number on the left. اوكي يا عبد الله؟ تمام؟ Okay, I think that's fine for today. Okay, so see you next session inshallah. Thank you so much for your time, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. مع السلامة يا عبد الله. شكرا.
مستر
ايوه يا مريم.
بكرة أي chapters رح تعمل؟
هنحاول نخلص الكام سؤال اللي باقيين على طول في الشابترز دول ونخش على طول في الشابتر اللي بعده اللي هو اسمه شابتر 8 and 9.
أوكي شكرا.
بقى لنا حاجة بس كاب 7 هنعمل 8 و 9 إن شاء الله. Thank you so much.
أوكي
Thank you.
thank you.